Wanted you to see the best part of me. Never knew that I could fall so quickly. And now it's over and I can't stop thinking, will we ever be the same? I got over all the shit that you said. I admit that it all went to my head. Got a little crazy there at the end. At the end, I'm still holding on to all the stupid flowers. They were your mistakes, but you said they were ours. Now they're trying to stay and sit it in my closet. And I'm trying to find the strength to go and lock it and go with it. I'm still holding on to all the stupid flowers. They were your mistakes, but you said they were ours. Now I'm trying to sit it in my closet. And I'm trying to find the strength to go and lock it and go with a key. Wanted you to see the best part of me. Never knew that I could fall so quickly. And now it's over and I can't stop thinking, will we ever be the same? I got over all the shit that you said. I admit that it all went to my head. Got a little crazy there at the end. At the end, I'm still holding on to all the stupid flowers. They were your mistakes, but you said they were ours. Now I'm trying to sit it in my closet. And I'm trying to find the strength to go and lock it and go with it. Lonely night, lonely night, lonely nights can love me like you don't know. I wanna run away to you. Lonely night, lonely night, lonely nights can hold me like you don't know. I wanna run away to you. I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rock and roll go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah, they do. I'm on my way to you. On my way to you. On my way to you. All the stars remind me of you, yeah, they do. Ease my mind, little bit of conversation. Left me high, and all I have is on. Maybe if I use my imagination, a little bit of your love will give me a bug. You can see that face, man. And then somebody in the morning, somebody that hold me tight. You don't even have to meet it. You can see that face, man. You don't even have to talk in the morning. No more lonely around you. But you can see that face, man. You can see that face, man. And then somebody in the morning, somebody that hold me tight. You don't even have to meet it. You can see that face, man. You don't even have to talk in the morning. No more lonely around you. You can see that face, man. Sorry, I don't wanna change.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Thinking back the way we were, it takes me to another place. Because
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Money Talk. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. How are we doing this morning? Right. I hope, like I said, today's another great day to have another wonderful Money Talk. And, I'm super excited this morning because I get to talk to you guys about a topic that is important. So this week, let's talk about what's going to be going on for this week. Right? This week is all about understanding like concepts. Right? So this week we're going to be talking about like concepts like Rule of 72. And that's on the topic for today. Right? And it's going to be a very cool topic. But more importantly, we're also going to talk about topics that involves like, the 10-20 formula, right? How many of you guys want to learn more about how to budget, right? We have topics on that this week. We're going to talk about other topics in regards to, I'm going to give you the lineup right now. So take down the notes. You ready? So today we're going to talk about the Rule of 72 today, right? We're going to talk about compound interest and all that good stuff. And then tomorrow we're talking about the X-curve concept, right, on Tuesday. And then Wednesday we're talking about the dime method, right? And then Thursday we're going to be talking about the 10-20 formula and the 50-20-30 formula as well. And then Friday we're going to break down, as you know, how to have a plan and use it with a goal, right? So if you are ready to learn I need you guys to light up the participant section green right now. Light it up green, right? Because I know you guys get to see that. Oh, I don't think you guys ready yet. I don't see the participant section looking green yet. Let me see. Let's see if you guys ready to learn, right? Okay, I'm almost convinced. Let me see one more. I'm all right. You convinced me. You convinced me. I'm ready to teach that. All right. So, what are some of the things that we're going to talk about this morning? Hey, we're going to talk about how to use the rule of 72 and how to understand it. But now, if you've been with me this long time now, you'd have learned about the fact that we talked about the fact that plus or minus rate of return, right? And we talked about the rule of 72. Now, what does the rule of 72 really helps you to understand? It helps you to understand the magic of compound interest, right? You got to understand the magic of compound interest. You got to understand why that's important, because the magic of compound interest, there was an important discovery that was done, and it was discovered was actually something called the rule of 72. So if you never heard of the rule of 72 before, well, don't be surprised, because everybody else knows it that use it against us. So the rule of 72 was actually created by Albert Einstein, right? And Albert Einstein used a very simple formula that helps you to identify as an estimate how many years it would take for our money to double for us or against us. So the formula says that if you take 72 and you divide it by whatever interest you're getting on your money, that will equal the amount of years it will take for your money to double for you or against you, right? But here's the thing about it. The thing about it is that we got to also understand, well, how this could work for us and how can it work against us? Now, let's talk about where 85% of the population is saving, which is most of the bank, right? So the bank was giving you 1% interest on your money, right? I want to show you how this thing is crazy. The bank was giving you 1% interest on your money, right? And you want to know how many years it would take for my money to double for me if I was getting 1%. All you got to do is simple math. Take 72 divided by 1. That equals 72. So that means it would take you 72 years for your money to double for you if you saved it in the bank. And that's if the bank gave you 1% now, right? So when you look at this, you're like, man, how can I win the money game? Now, what if you had three options, right, to invest your money? You are 29 years old, right? And you had the option to invest your $10,000. And you won the money back at you at 65. They said, hey, you have three options. You have 4%, right? You have 8% and you have 12%. These are your options, right? So when you look at it, you said, okay, show me what the 4% could do for what the 4% could do for my money. So now you take 72 divided by 4, that equals 18. That means the money doubles every 18 years. So that means from 29 to 65, guys, that 10,000 will only grow to $40,000. Now, $40,000 at 65 ain't a lot of money. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that would take you too far in your retirement, right? Worse if you live in the East Coast. So now, how about this one? What if you said, man, what if I get 8%, right? 72 divided by 8 equals 9. That means the money will double every 9 years. So now your $10,000, right, at 29 will grow to 160,000 by the age of 65. So now 160,000, okay, decent, nothing too crazy, right? You may have to work a part-time job with that type of money, right? But then what if you were able to get 12% interest on your money? Then you do 72 divided by 12, money double it every 6 years, right? So that equals 6. That's the amount of years it would take. So if you look at your 10,000 at the age of 29 and you go to 65, you have $640,000. Right? So what is it showing you is that time is money. Literally. That's why we say time is money. It's because the amount of years that you want your money to double faster is determined upon whatever interest you're getting on your money throughout the time. Right? And that will help your money to grow much faster. Because compounding interest is really an important tool to really build wealth or actually put you in debt. Right? So this is how money is being made, guys. Money is being made through the interest, right? Money is being made through compound interest. So that's why we have to realize that, man, look at the big difference. Look at the big difference between the $10,000, right, at a 4% versus a 12%. You may look at it and say, wow, it's only a, I don't know, 8% difference. But realistically, when you put numbers to it, it's actually a $600,000 difference. which is a lot of money. Would you guys agree with that? $600,000 is a lot of money, right? Right? Would you say that's a lot of money? Yes or no? To be a big difference, right? I, yeah, I agree, right? It's a lot of money. So when you think about these numbers and you say, man, interest plays such an important role in building wealth, because they even said that there's two types of people in the world. There's people that understand how money works and they make money work for them. But then there's people that don't understand how money works and they just end up working for money. So which one are we? Where you see yourself right now? Are you just working for money? Are you making money work for you? Right? Are you just working to save? Are you having money working to save for itself? Right? It's just a matter of how you see things, right? It's how you approach things. It's how you go about making things happen for yourself, right? So then you got to look at it from a different perspective now, because now you got to understand the difference between simple interest versus compound interest, because now there's two kind of interest you can receive on your money. It's either you have simple interest or you get compound interest, right? And you have to realize, well, which one am I receiving when I need my money, right? Because the thing is this: if you look at the fact that, well, what is simple interest, what is compound interest, and let's break it down. I'm going to break it down for you, right? Now let's say that okay, good. Let's say that we're going to break down simple interest first. The way that simple interest work is that, let's say that you had $10,000, right? And they said that we're going to give you 8% interest in your money, right? So 10,000 times 8% is actually what, 800 bucks, right? Or something like that, $800, right? So every year, what happened is that if it's 8% every year that you could make, right? Every year that 8% is earned, then all you get is $800 every year. You don't get nothing else. So you only get what you only make money on the principal, right? Or whatever the interest on the principal is, right? So it's important for you to know if you make money like that. But then you have compound interest, which is one I like. I love compound interest. I hope you guys love compound interest. Do you guys love compound? I love compound interest. You got to know the difference, man. You see, compound interest, the way it works is like this. Let's say that you had the same $10,000. You earn 8% the first year, right? So now that 8% on the 10,000 is 10,800, right? So now you have 10,800 in the first year. Now guess what? The second year, you're not just going to get money on the 10,000 again. No, the second year you're going to make money on the principal and the interest. So now the second year it's 10,800 that you're earning 8% interest on, right? So imagine over the period of years, remember, time is money. So over the period of time, your money would have been compounded plus the interest it earned from the previous year for the next year. And now you're making more money on top of money that you didn't have to get. You see, that's how compound interest, like, come on. Do you guys love compound interest? Like, I get excited talking about compound interest. How many of you guys love it right now? How many of you guys want compound interest, right? You see, so if we want compound interest, then what I want you to think about is, well, am I getting compound interest for my money right now? Or is it compound interest being used against me? Because now you got to think about it and call your credit card company. And you got to call the bank man. You got to call everybody and say, hey, what kind of interest you got on my money? Is it compound? But then here's the other thing too. How many times is your money being compounded? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it semi-annually? Or is it annual compounding? You got to know, right? Because let me tell you something. I put my money where I get compound interest every month. Every month. I have 12 segments of compounding, right? Right? Because you know your credit card companies, they compound interest every month. Right? Now you see why if you run up that credit card bill too much, how you could stay in debt. It's because the interest upon your debt is it's such a high rate where it's getting compounded on. So every time you're paying the minimum, thinking that you're paying down the debt, all you're doing is probably sometimes paying down the interest. Depends on how big the debt is, of course, right? So, guys, it's something amazing that we really got to learn about compound interest. But here's another thing. Let's talk about what is the real rate of return, right? Man, if you're learning a lot right now, could you flood me up with some green? Are you learning a lot right now? Is this good stuff, right? Because you know, most of the time I use it from the book, but I figured, hey, let me just have a conversation with you guys. Like, you guys like the conversation? format versus the, I guess I call it lecture, right? If you guys like this, man, let me know. Let me know if you like the conversational teaching aspect versus a lecture type, right? Because the thing that we got to do is like Money Talk is a movement, right? And when you look at it, here's the thing that I want you guys to know as well. I want you guys to know that, we got to know what the real rate of return is, right? You got to know what the real rate of return is. So what I mean by this, okay. So what I mean by this is that you may say, hey, I got 3% interest on my money, right? And you're gonna be like, oh man, I'm good. Like you have people that tell you like, I'm good, right? I earn 3% interest on my money, Keyon. I'm good. I'm okay, right? But I always say that you're never good because wealthy people is never good. They're okay, right? So if wealthy people feel like they're not good, so how we that don't even have millions of dollars feel good? So I always say that you're not good, you may be okay, right? Because you got to know what is the real rate of return. So what I mean by this is like, let me give you two examples, right? Let's say that you earn, and man, I wish I had actually, I do have my calculator. I have my phone. Okay. All right, perfect. So everybody get out their calculator. Let me turn on my phone, right? And I'm gonna, okay, I had to send a quick text, and then I had to pull out my calculator. Here we go. All right. So let's talk about breaking down, interest, right? And how to calculate the real rate of return. So let's say that we had $100 that we was going to save, right? We was going to save that $100. And by saving this $100, right, you're earning 3% on the $100. So now what is 3% on the 100? So now you have $100, right? You're going to times it by 0.03. So that means you made $3, right? So now with interest on your money, you just made $103, right? You got $103 now with the interest, but we didn't calculate what taxes will be. So let's say that federal and state tax was at 25%. So what is 25% on the $3? Remember, you don't pay taxes on the principal, you pay taxes on the gains in America, capital gains tax. So now what is 25% of $3? So now all you gotta do is do times, right? $3 times 0.25. So that means you're gonna minus 75 cents from the $3, and now you're left with $2.25. So now you have $102.25 after tax, right? But what you didn't calculate, remember, you didn't calculate the cost of living, which is known as inflation. So let's say that inflation was at let's say 3%, right? We're not even going to say 3.5. We're going to say if inflation was at 3%, right? So now let's see how that will affect our money. So if we have $100, right? We have $102.25, correct? So now let's minus $3 because inflation, 3% is $3, right? So when you look at inflation at 3%, just minus $3, right? So now we're going to minus $3. And that means that we'll be left with $99.25. So our $100 investment, listen to this, our $100 investment earning 3% after tax and inflation, you really only have a return of $99.25. So you actually lost money. Isn't that crazy? How many of you guys knew how to calculate that? See, I just teach you something, how to calculate what is the real interest on your money. How many of you guys love that, man? Light me up with green if you like that. Like, did you see that? How many of you guys catch that, right? You see, this is how we, as the financial professionals, we could actually tell you if you're really on track or not, if you're really good, because like a lot of people like to say, good, right? But I'm calculating this, like putting it in the phone, running my little quick calculator. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not even close to good, right? Because your money's not even getting compound interest on every month. You're not even, so I know you're okay. You're okay because you have something, but I know you're not good, right? So that's why we really have to be a little bit humble and be willing to learn something, right? But let me even take it a little step further. Let's say that you had 5% interest on the money, right? So fast forward, that's $105 you have. So remember, when you think about what's going to be taxed, it's all the capital gains, right? They're going to tax you on the gains. So if you know $5, right, will be taxed at 0.25%, which is taxes. So you're minus 125, right, from the $5, and now you're left with $3.75. So now you have $103.75 after taxes taken out of it, right? So after taxes come out of that money, you're now left with $103 if you're willing to save that $100, right? So now let's minus inflation. Remember what inflation is? Let's say that inflation was at 3%. So now you're going to minus $3. So what is $3 minus? So let's do that. Minus $3. So now you're left with $100.75. So what you just realized is that if you're not earning 5% or better as far as interest on your money, then you're losing the money game. You are losing the money game. And like I said, this is just me being modest, right? This is just me being modest about this whole thing, right? So you got to really look and see, man, how's this right? Right? How's this right? How's this even cool? Right? How this is happening to us? Right? How come many people don't know how to calculate these things? Right? And that's when I realized that, man, the game was kept from us. Right? They made us the players. They did that. They made us the players. They gave us the opportunities, but no one ever gave us the rules. So now we're here playing a game with no rules, no guidance, no map, no plan. We're just playing. No scoreboard. Where you scoring at? How much you trying to make a shot? Yeah, they're shooting the shots, but how many shots do you need to make to win the game? Right? Hey, let me tell you guys, you better start getting in the game and don't just be a player. All right? Like you can't out here them having you guys looking crazy out here, right? That's why I'm out here trying to teach you guys the game, because I know no one didn't give it to me. I know no one didn't give it to my mom. I don't know why they give it to our moms, because if they did, we wouldn't be here to have a money talk today. So money talk, like I said, is going to be one of the biggest movement. That's why we got to empower families every day. So what I like to do, guys, I want to open up the call, right? I really like this talk. I like to have the money talk and just spit out knowledge, right? And give it to you guys raw and direct and make it more relatable. So that way you guys can really hear it from layman terms, and just keep it raw and just keep it as it is. Because that's what Money Talks is, man. Money Talks is just really a talk. It's a conversation that we must have and we must learn. So I want to open up the conversation now to anybody that have any feedbacks or any questions, right, that they want to have pertaining to the subject that we talked about today. If you have any feedback, what you guys think about the new talk? You like my hat? You see what it says? It says God is dope, right? So let me see. So if you like to share, just press the yes button, and definitely I'll call on you guys one by one. So if you'd like to share, hold on. So let me clear so that way I make it clear. All right, here we go. So everybody go to the participant section, and I want you to press the green button if you'd like to share, or you could raise your hand, either one, right? So if you'd like to share, please press the green, and I'm gonna call on you one by one. So please go to the participant section because I cleared it earlier. So now it's blank. So if you'd like to share, if you'd like to give any feedback, just raise your hand, or you can press the yes button so I can see who to call on. So first person we have here, we have Miss Cherie that would like to share, and then we have Miss Beverly. So if you'd like to share after these two, please hit the button and I'm gonna call on you next, okay? So Miss Cherie, good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And thank you, Keyon, for such an awesome money talk. I really, really enjoyed the atmosphere that you created today with the just real chill, real relatable, to get us in a mindset of the fact that this is something that is happening all day, every day. And we need to be aware and we need to make it a lifestyle. So I appreciate that. In respects to inflation is very scary, because without having this information that we have now, we've always been taught to save and put our money in traditional bank accounts, and a traditional bank account cannot compete with inflation. Most savings accounts give you 0.002% in terms of interest. Meanwhile, they're loaning your money out at, exorbitant interest rates to get their money, but meanwhile they're using your money to loan out. So it's quite big to have this information, to know how inflation impacts our money, and it helps us with our budget planning. It helps us with all our financial decision making. So it's so vital, it's so necessary, and I appreciate you sharing it. I would have a question. I also do like your hat. I'm a big fan of God is Dope. I do have a question regarding, I guess, battling inflation. What would be someone's position or place that they can, place their money if they're in between creating an emergency fund, but also want to, grow wealth for retirement? What would be a good strategy, I guess, to say, because the emergency fund still needs to grow, but they want to, save for retirement and also make a couple of investments for their family?
Like I always said, in regards to making decisions like that, we always got to figure out, well, how you want to be taxed, right? And it's all about, do you want to get taxed on the gains and withdrawals, which is in taxable vehicles? Or do you want to be taxed later on as ordinary income after the age 59 and a half? Or do you want to have tax advantages where you don't have to pay any taxes on the gains inside of the policy, right? But me personally, I personally use life insurance to save and leverage that ability, because I'm thinking about more the future, not really so much the now, right? Because let's put it that I have things in place for my now, right? And that's, you could call that the emergency fund. The emergency fund is for the now, right? But what I really harp on and pay attention to is the future, because I want to make sure I have things in place for if I die too soon. But more importantly, I want to have things in place for if I live too long, right? And if I live too long, I want to make sure when I need my money, I don't have to pay any taxes on it, or, at least majority of it. So I use life insurance as a supplement in regards to having a tax-free, accessible to money. And the only way that happens is if you overfund it properly as well, right? So all that plays a very major role. So yeah, me personally, I use life insurance, most of my instruments to do that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I believe we have Miss Beverly next, and then I also see Miss Victoria Garden. If you'd like to share, guys, remember, just press the green button or you raise your hands from the participant section, and I'll call on you next after Miss Victoria Garden. But Miss Beverly, you're up next. You're live. Good morning.
Good morning and good morning, everybody. I just have one question. I think you just answered it, Keyon, and that was with the 8%. And what tool or what avenue can we go to get that 8% return on our money, opposed to getting a penny on $10,000 after a month? Like what tool are you referring to when you say getting a better rate return and getting that 8%?
Well, let me make this clear, right? Such a good question, Miss Beverly. As far as 8%, there's no way we could guarantee to earn any form of interest on anything, right? And that's one of the things that I learned earlier about growth on money, is that it's not guaranteed, because the fact that the market's unpredictable, right? And because the unpredictable of the market, I never really pay attention too much to where I can make a lot of money. But I always, all right, it's almost like I'm very Jamaican, right? I'm a very Jamaican guy. And the mindset that I have is that I don't want to lose none of my money. In Jamaica, I mean, I lose none of my money, right? So that's why I have that mindset where I don't want to lose a dime, right? If I give you $20, I want $20 there, right? But if you're willing to make me some more money on my $20, and when I need it back, I get tax free, we're cool, right? So I look at it from that standpoint, where I don't care too much about what the gains are, but as long as the potential to gain is there, is high enough, I'm cool with that. Where, you know, as you know, where I put my money, I have a potential to earn up to 15%, right? That's a potential. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. But at least I know if the market does 20, I'm getting 15. I'm good with that because it's above what inflation is, right? My earning potential is higher than what inflation is. I'm cool with that. So the part that I really love and the part that got me, I'm talking about me now, why I decided to use it is because when the market goes down negative, I'm getting a positive 0.75%. So imagine the market does a -1, I'm getting a positive 0.75%. I'm cool with that. I'm good off that. That's amazing because I don't lose no money. So every time the market does negative, I don't care if we have a negative years for the next 10 years. I'm getting a positive return. Can't beat that. That's guaranteed, right? So I look for avenues in that way. And that's what really make me look at things differently, you know? So that's the reason why I looked into life insurance. And I tell people, show me somewhere else that I could get better. And I'm all ears. I'm all student.
Okay, perfect. I just was wondering, okay, so what basically we're looking for a better rate of return on our money. Like the best
At least earning
avenue
potential.
will be the best rate of return that we're getting. And it could be,
It could be life insurance, but there's, like I said,
right.
there's many ways. It all depends. That's why I
Okay,
said what it really comes down to, Miss Beverly, is how you want to be taxed. As long as you know that answer first,
okay,
right? As long as you know
perfect.
what I like to call your tax tolerance, as long as you know that first, then we could look at the vehicles that's in that tax bracket, and it helps you to
Okay,
make a better decision which one and go through the pros and cons of each one.
okay. Because
Yeah,
I was asked that question, and the thing is, it's kind of probably age driven as well, because
mhm.
how you're gonna. So every individual is different, and we're just looking for
Absolutely.
the best way to get the best return on your money.
Yeah, like life insurance is not for everybody at a certain age because you know the cost of living is going to be ridiculous unless this person is coming in and saying, "Man, I could put in 20 grand a month," right? And they're 80 years old. All right, that makes a little bit of sense because we know that life is the cost of insurance is going to be ridiculous, right? So if they could put in a lot of money into this thing because they wanted to really put it to work, but you got to think about life expectancy. If you're 80 years old and life expectancy around 85, you kind of like to do the math a little bit easier, So it's just a matter of how it's your tax tolerance. As long as you know your tax tolerance, then it makes it easier to know where you really want to put your money, right?
Okay.
I think that's more important. So when people ask me where should I invest my money and save, I say, well, how you want to be taxed, right? Because I can't give you any recommendation. I just can educate you, and as I educate you, you then be able to make a decision based upon the education. So yeah, anytime anybody asks you that question, Ms. Beverly, just ask them how you want to be taxed. And if they say, what do you mean? Well, there's 3 ways you could get taxed when you need your money. And it's important that they learn them and then you educate them through that. You can use your Saving Your Future book, page 17 through 19, right? And break down the 3 ways money get taxed and then ask them which bracket you want to see yourself in. And if they choose tax advantages, then great. Look through all the pros and cons. If they choose a Roth IRA, you go over page 70. If they choose 529 that they want to use for their children's education, cool. Break down page 80, right? If they choose that they want to use a municipal bonds, right? I think it's like page 48 or something like that, or 46, right? And if they'll choose life insurance, break down 46 through 47. If they choose long-term care, if I remember correctly, that's on page 83 or 84, right? So then that way you break it down to them, right? So that way they get a better understanding of how these things work.
Thanks, Keon. I got to jump off the call, but I appreciate your insight, and that'll let me know how I can answer that question. So I appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
everybody have a great day, and I will be on the call tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on. And then we have Miss Victoria Gordon. Good morning, Miss Victoria.
Good morning, everybody. Great call. I really like your analogy about stop being the player in the game. And I think for a long time, for us baby boomer ages, we've just been players. Work to live to work, and not really thinking about interest. Because really, I remember coming up, didn't really understand the interest. Just go, yeah, yeah. When they say, oh, we'll tax you later, you take a 403B or a 401K, until I needed my money, and you begin to tax me and penalize me. And I'm like, oh my God, I got this amount of money and I'm asking for X amount, and this is all I'm going to get when I need it. So, uh, yeah, I was just playing the game. But for all you young people, I think you ought to just really learn all you can. And I'm like, Keyon, if I knew what I knew now, when I'm ready for my money, I don't want you telling me you got to take X amount and X amount again and X amount again. That three ways, especially under 59 and a half with the penalty and the taxes, and what state you live in, state taxes or city tax, federal taxes. That's a bit much for me. I work hard for my money, and I think I would prefer to do a life insurance if I understood it better. But I thank you again for this money talk and understanding. I've sent out emails every morning, and I have to laugh, because I know, for a fact that a lot of your friends and families don't really understand money either, because they're constantly borrowing. And if we stop playing the game and learn the game, then we'll become more successful, I think, in handling our money. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. I think you're so right. We got to stop just playing the game and learn the rules, right? Because that's why we're getting fouled out the game sometimes. Sometimes we're getting thrown out the game sometimes because we don't know the rules. So, right, you think you understand money, and I tell people that money stopped being money since 1971, right? So we really gotta, learn the rules. But we have, I take Miss Sheila Forbes as our last one. Good morning, Miss Sheila Forbes.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you again for another wonderful Money Talk call. I have a question. I just want to make sure that I understand it. With the life insurance, I know that it is a tax-free vehicle as far as loans and when it's paid out, but it's a tax deferred vehicle, so I would be taxed as ordinary income when I just like make a withdrawal. So
From
there's a
your life
difference
insurance?
between making a withdrawal and a loan, right?
What, for your life insurance?
Yes.
No, you get tax-free withdrawals and tax-free loans.
Thank you for that, because I
I know
I
where you're
thought so,
mistaken.
but I want to be clear.
Right. I think the part where you saw sometimes with that, it says tax deferred earnings, right? And tax
Yes.
deferred earnings means that you don't pay tax on the gains inside of the policy. Because remember, tax, it is already tax going in. So whatever it
Right.
grows after that later on the years is deferred. So it's tax deferred earnings inside of the plan as well. Tax deferred income earnings, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Are you welcome? Anytime. Yeah. So I hope we learned a lot today. So, and like I said, if you guys like this type of way, just having a conversation, please let me know in our Money Talk chat room. So that way I could really, I could make some adjustments, right? And make it more a conversation every morning and just, I guess, give it to you guys the way I understand it, if that helps you to understand it more from simpler, understanding about the topic. So, yeah, I'm super excited. And tonight, as usual, I always invite you guys to come on, right, at 7 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll be doing, some people call it seven step, but I like to call it another talk about the campaign. And you get the chance to learn more about our campaign, and you're able to, learn a little bit more. And we're encouraging people to come and learn about the campaign. So that way we could continue to educate and expand, and you could learn about all the great things that we're doing for families and not just about education also, but also even within different opportunities. All right. So please, we look forward to see you guys. All right. So until tomorrow, I just want to remind you guys that, hey, you're one decision away from changing the future for the better. So always remember that the choice is yours. My name is Keyon Corniffe, also known as Mr. Finance, your favorite financial educator. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. So on the count of 3, let's all wish out. 1, 2, 3. Let's whoosh, guys. LT, one,
Whoosh.
one, three.
One team, one drink, one sister, one cup.
Right.
Morning, everybody.
Everybody. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.